You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
For the first time since 2013, the Tigers are regular season conference champions. We'll sit down with Penny to look back at the great year so far, feature PJ Haggerty at its postseason time. We're taking a look ahead to the conference tournament in Fort Worth. It's The Penny Hardaway Show. Let's go.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone. When you've got battery trouble, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone. And supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers.
Mission accomplished. The Tigers are champs, and they're the #1 seed headed to Fort Worth. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Willosh.
And I'm Matt Infield. But before we celebrate, let's check out highlights from games against UTSA at USF. A trip to San Antonio to start the week as the Tigers face UTSA. Picked this one up in the second half. Nick Jourdain running the floor, and no one stopping him on this rack attack. Tigers lead 49-40. Shortly after that, Tyrese Hunter is going to pick up Defensive Player of the Week, hounding to force the steal, recovers, and finds Air Danger. Dang with the one-handed slam. Memphis goes up 13. Roadrunners rally and cut it to 2, but Jourdain showing off the range as he connects on the big-time 3. It got tight late, but Penny still composed enough to give an autograph to this young man. Tigers on top, 75-70. Friday night and senior day as 5 upperclassmen were honored before the regular season finale against USF. Game was tied at halftime. Much different story in the second half. Deja, refusing to be denied, overpowers the Bulls for 2 of his 20 points in the game. Later in the half, Hunter in transition, stops, pops, drops from distance. Tigers pulling away, up 15. Our outstanding performer of the week is more like the outstanding performer of the year. Haggerty putting a bow on his likely AAC Player of the Year campaign with another 20 points, and let the party start. The Tigers are outright conference champions for the first time since 2013. They beat USF 84-68 and earned the #1 seed for the conference tournament.
Coach, let's start with congratulations.
Thank you.
You are the #1 seed. You are a champion. We know that those things are facts, and it has to feel very fulfilling for you. You put this team together late. You brought in a whole new staff late, and yet here you are, champion.
Yeah, through it all. That's what I would say because of what happened last year and in the conference. Non-conference was beautiful. Conference got a little rocky and shaky. We ended it really badly. To come back this year and God blesses us to be able to have this same route, the great non-conference again, and then getting in the conference and then winning the conference, that's a great feeling.
Yeah, you talked about last year and how everything kind of went off the rails. You come back this year, win the regular season championship. How fitting to close it out, the outright championship with a home win against USF when that was the game that kind of turned everything the wrong way last year.
Yeah, it's crazy how God works, right? He puts the same team in our path that we had a 20-point lead on last year and then lose it and then it started to go downward and then they went upward. And to be able to win this game against those guys, man, it's only fitting, man. What a great night.
I have to ask this. You are, in my mind, Coach of the Year. Haggerty is Player of the Year without a question. What would that mean to you? Coaches do all the voting. That's not the media, not the fans, it's the coaches. What would it mean to you to get that acknowledgement?
It would mean a lot because everything I do is team-based. I do it for everyone else. To be selfish in one area, and that's my job, to win that Coach of the Year, that lets me know that I'm the best coach in the conference for that year. I did a phenomenal job, so it's a job well done, what I set out to do. And I would definitely thank God for that accomplishment because it's hard to come by.
First regular season championship in your time as coach here. You've won, obviously, the conference tournament before. The difference in the feelings, how would you describe it?
The difference is you have to grind out throughout the season and you have to win tough road games. And we did that. You know, when you went on the road, you know you're a championship team and you protect home court. In the conference championship, it's 3 days and it's a knockdown, drag out fight knowing that if you lose, you can go home. And but it's both equally the same on the mental, but it's more grueling and taxing physically during the season because you got to do it night in and night out.
What made this team so good mentally to win away from FedEx Forum?
A commitment to do so. I think they were looking forward to it. I feel like every opportunity they had in the non-conference to go on the road was a must-win situation, just like in the conference is a must-win. And they got a chance every single night to build themselves up as a group, to lean on one another, to fight and have the chemistry to go out there and get it done. And it's phenomenal watching it because it's the most wins I've ever won on the road.
Do you think the UAB game kind of captured that perfectly? Tough road environment, UAB's hitting shots, you guys are down 10 the second half, and yet persevere and pull away at the end.
Yeah, that's definitely the game that kind of defines who we've been all year. We needed to show that in that type of an environment, hostile environment with a really good team, down 10 in the second half, and we never wavered. You know, we showed fight, we showed grit, and to be able to come back and win that game, we were all, as you can see in the locker room, ecstatic about that W.
In a year of many moments, Matt brings up UAB. I love it when you come around the corner and they douse you with the cold
Yes.
water. That's great. But there's Maui. There's the win at Clemson. There's so many magical moments. Give me your favorite if you've got one.
My favorite is UConn because at the moment they were back-to-back national champs. They hadn't lost, they were undefeated, and it was a shot heard around the world. That's what put everyone on notice.
What did that trip do to lay the foundation for the rest of the season?
It did everything for us because we gained confidence by playing the best in the nation. UConn, Michigan State, Auburn. The number 3 team at the time, the number 1 overall team in the nation right now, and I think Michigan State is in the top 10. So we played 3 of the top teams in the country while playing 2 exhibition games against Carolina and Alabama.
Is there at any point this season where you were just surprised by something that might have occurred?
I was surprised every night at us, especially on the road, how we would find a way to get a win, no matter by any means necessary. That to me, as a fan, as a basketball historian, a guy that played the game, I know how hard that is. So I actually became a fan of my team and how they carried themselves on the road and winning those games.
Obviously, 2 years in a row, you guys run through the non-conference. This year went a lot different than last year. When did you know this team was different and would be able to accomplish special things that last year's team was not?
I knew that after we lost our first game at Temple and we came back and won at Charlotte, that we were the real deal because we never lost 2 games in a row all season. And that lets you know you have a really good team because you bounce back. You don't wallow in your sorrow, right? You don't sit there and just cry about it. They get back after it, and that's when I knew that we were pretty good.
Let's go back to last summer. You got 4 guys that are going to be all conference, most likely, 2 on the first team. Who's the most improved from last summer to right now?
2 people, Dane Danger and PJ Haggerty. When PJ Haggerty first came here, he didn't want to practice. He was kind of lazy. He wasn't really interested. I mean, this is not knocking him, but it was like but now he's talking. He's the leader of the defense. He's the guy that's doing everything. And Dane was the same way. Dane was like nonchalant, not really as energetic. And now those 2 guys are most improved for sure.
He's been arguably the most impactful transfer in college basketball this season. We'll sit down with PJ Haggerty for our final feature of the season next.
You're watching the Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back to the Penny Hardaway Show. Once again, Penny has struck gold in finding a star player in the transfer portal. PJ Haggerty is known around here as the silent assassin. In his first season as a Tiger, he's the favorite to win Conference Player of the Year. Haggerty grew up in Crosby, Texas, just outside of Houston, and remembers exactly what he first fell in love with basketball.
I think I was like 4, and then my dad took me to a park around the neighborhood, and I made my first basket, and then I just started playing from there.
So you remember it though? Like
Yeah,
it's kind
I
of like
know.
a vivid memory.
I got a whole recording of that, yeah.
Really?
Facts.
The low-key demeanor Haggerty carries himself with now stems from his time pushing himself as a kid.
Very little seems to get you riled up. Where does that come from? Have you always been like this?
Yeah. I mean, I used to work out. My dad really used to yell at me a lot. It's kind of crazy. So when I was younger, I really just try to tune it out. Because, you know, in games, it's going to be a lot of yelling, yada, yada, all kind of loud crowds. But I just try to tune it out and just focus on what I need to focus on.
Haggerty's dad wasn't his only big basketball influence growing up. From a young age, he looked up to one of the best players to ever come out of Houston, TJ Ford, who won National Player of the Year at Texas before going on to be a top 10 pick in the NBA draft.
I think I played with him when I was like 8, 9, but I worked out with his dad since I was like 6 or 7 in like this little church. So then from then we just built a relationship, family. He taught me a lot about basketball. I worked out with him. You know, he went to the NBA, so just learning from him throughout my basketball career meant a lot.
The relationship with Ford also led to a connection with another great Memphis guard from Houston, Kendrick Davis.
He played like with the older team, but like he'll like come work out with scrimmage, things like that. I actually played against when I was younger. And then, yeah, I seen like how really good he was. So then he used to beat me, but it was like I got better. I ain't played him since then.
Haggerty went on to have a decorated career at Crosby High School. In his senior season, he won both the Guy V. Lewis Award, given to the best player in the Houston area, and Mr. Texas Basketball.
It meant a lot, just being recognized my senior year. I worked hard throughout my whole high school career, and just to get like recognized by things like that. I feel like I should have won Gatorade Player of the Year, but I ain't gonna speak on that.
Your recruitment coming out of high school, describe it.
Coming out of high school, I say it was a lot of Power 5 schools. Just try to find like the right ones, but it came between TCU and Auburn.
Despite the recruiting pitch from Bruce Pearl, Haggerty initially decided to stay in the Lone Star State and commit to the Horned Frogs.
It really was like closer to home. I think that was really the thing. I really feel like I should have went the other route, but like, it is what it is.
So retrospectively, you think that was initially a mistake?
I wouldn't say a mistake. I really feel like it was just part of my journey. I think I was meant to go there and then end up coming here.
So you play 6 games your freshman year and then you redshirt. When you redshirt, do you know you're done there?
Yeah, just keep it honest. Yeah, I knew I was done. I think I needed to like get somewhere where like I could be myself again. I think I found that in Tulsa.
What are you looking for in that next school? Is it simply kind of being able to express yourself and play your game?
Yeah, I think at that point, I really didn't really matter where I went as long as I got the chance. I know like once I got the chance, I'd take care of the rest. Yeah, I think that's what I kind of did last year.
That chance came a little further north when Haggerty transferred to Tulsa.
Coach Conco had a plan, same like here. He had a plan, one of the coaches that believed in me, and he seen like the potential I had, and he gave me a chance.
Haggerty took that chance and never looked back, averaging over 21 points per game with the Golden Hurricane.
Yeah, I think not many people probably thought I would average that many points, but I mean, I've been scoring my whole life, so I think like as the stages get like higher and higher, like high school to college, I think I'll still be able to score, and I was able to do that last year.
Unanimous AAC Freshman of the Year. After what you went through at TCU, which I know you said is part of the journey and just a little bump in the road, but to really burst on the scene like that when you finally get that opportunity, what kind of feeling did that give you?
It was a great feeling to know that like all the hard work that I put in is starting to pay off, but I really wasn't like satisfied. I think like for the next year, I could get a lot better than how I played last year.
So when you jump in the portal this time, what are you looking for?
Really the same thing. I just wanted to be a part of like a bigger stage and a winning culture. No disrespect to Tulsa, but I just want to be like, and then especially learn from Coach Penny, things like that. It kind of stood out to me.
How quickly, when you jump in the portal, does Memphis come into the picture?
I think they was like one of the first schools that called me. Yeah, I think like when we played them last year, he shook my hand, tell me I was very talented, yada, yada. I mean, I didn't really expect them to call me, but as the year went on, they called me. They was around the first ones, yeah.
Haggerty took one visit his entire process to the 901 and decided this would be his new home.
What sealed it?
Really like the atmosphere. He talked about me, his plan he had for me, sat me down in like this film room, showing me like what he think he can help me with, how I can become a better player. how I can win and what he can do to take me to the next level. Things like that stand out. And then with his resume, yeah.
The crafty guard has delivered from day one in a Tiger uniform. Haggerty is averaging over 21 points per game once again, second in the American scoring for the second straight year.
You said you've scored forever. The mentality, the mindset, attack mode every single game it takes to score as well as you have for as long as you have. Describe that.
I really think since I was a kid, I just worked on how can I score, whether that's like getting in the paint, mid-range threes, and I watched like a lot of NBA, how they create, so things like that. I think you got to be able to create for yourself and others in basketball. That's what I try to do.
For Haggerty, this season has proved he's two things together, an elite scorer and a winner.
Yeah, I mean, last year people would say he can score, but can he win? And I think that was one of the things that I wanted to improve on, was having the same kind of impact, but winning at the highest level. And I think starting to show.
PJ Haggerty has developed into such a great player, really both sides of the floor. But let's go back. Last summer, he enters the portal. Here you go. What kind of relationship did you have then and now?
When he entered the portal, I built a small relationship with him because PJ doesn't really talk much until he gets to know you. So it was enough relationship for him to trust that he should come here and be a part of this. When he got here, we talked a lot. I tried to talk to him the most because I have to have a connection to my point guards because they're an extension of me. And he's opened up way more than he was than where he was now. He's definitely a jokester that I found out. He's a guy that just loves to talk now, but in the beginning he wasn't talking, but we have a great relationship now.
Off to Fort Worth as the Tigers try to win the conference tournament for the second time in 3 years. We'll preview the AAC tournament next.
You're watching the Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
The Tigers have that 1 seed. That means you get a whole week off. What do you expect in Fort Worth?
Well, it's going to be a bare knuckle fight. I always talk about that. These teams are going to be physical. They're going to be tough. They're going to be holding, grabbing. It's going to be a war because most of these teams feel like they have an opportunity to win. Obviously, we lost to Temple and we lost to Wichita State, so they feel like they have an edge. UAB thinks that they can beat us. North Texas thought that they were close and it was a close game. So it's not like they're going in the tournament going, we have no chance. Everyone thinks that they have a chance.
Most bracketologists are saying you guys are a lock for the NCAA tournament. How do you keep the fire lit under these guys for the conference tournament?
Our short-term goals were to win outright season and then to win the conference tournament. So that's what we want. And we feel like we still can't afford to lose. We cannot afford to lose. So we're locked in on that every single day.
And I guess really you can't afford to lose because you want a fair seed.
Yeah, we want a fair seed whether we get it or not. But we know we'll do ourselves some justice if we continue to win and win that conference tournament.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
This is going to be the last tournament in Fort Worth, and I got a feeling there's going to be a special memory coming out of it. We're back with a wrap in just a minute.
You're watching the Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again after the postseason.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, got a check engine light? AutoZone will check it for free with the free Fix Finder service, available at every store. Get in the zone, AutoZone. And supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.